Hello and welcome to the course of digital image processing using Python. I am Ahmad and we will be discussing color image processing. So light is described by the photons, and light has wave nature, or more precisely standing waves like this one with some wavelength lambda. So human eye follows same phenomena of wavelength sensing. Though interpretation of brain is quite complex phenomenon, human eye can see in visible spectrum only from 380 nanometer to 740 nanometer. Beyond 740 nanometer, there is an IR spectrum. After 740 nanometer, there is a IR spectrum, then radio wave spectrum, and so on up to some say acoustic spectrums. So human eye can only see the visible spectrum, which is within this range, and each color has its unique wavelength or range of wavelengths. Its different shades, I mean violet and its shades have 380 to 450 nanometer wavelength, and similarly blue, cyan, green, yellow, orange and red. So the basic phenomena is light is first illuminated over the objects and then reflected to human eye, which is then perceived as some object based on its color and shape. So we can describe colors like red, grayish blue, white, dark green and so on. There could be many colors that we can describe. But in computer science we describe colors using hue, which is the dominant wavelength or color, and then saturation. Saturation is about how pure the mixture of the wavelength is. Red is more saturated form of pink. Red is a more saturated form of pink, and similarly royal blue is a more saturated form of sky blue color. And then is the lightness or brightness, how bright is the color. Okay, how the human eye perceives color. Though we are not interested in detailed anatomy of human eye, but just a few slides on how a color is perceived. So the main part is the retina. The back side, this portion, the back side of the eye plays an important role in color sensing, where photoreceptor cells are placed, and this is called retina. This layer, and a part of retina is zoomed and is displayed over here. So the retina is made up of millions of photoreceptor cells, which are connected to cone cells, like blue one, the red one and the green one, and the other cell is the rod cell. These cone cells can sense light with different wavelengths, like wavelength of red, green and blue colors. So we have retina, and the retina is made up of photoreceptor cells, which are then connected to cone cells or rod cells. So in the center of the retina there are more cone cells and less rod cells, like this one. We have more cone cells, red, green and blue cones, and then rod cells in gray color. Whereas as we move away from the center of the retina, then we have more rod cells and less cone cells. And a human eye has about 6 to 7 million cones. So rod cells are relatively less sensitive to color, but rod cells in fact helps to perceive the general form or general shape of the object, even in the dim light. And one other fact is human eye can on average distinguish 128 different hues or colors and 20 different shades of each color. So that would be like 2500 colors or colors and shades or colors and their saturations. And as we discussed earlier, the visible spectrum is 380 nanometer to 740 nanometer. And mostly we describe color or the components of color like hue, which describes the color, luminance and saturation. And we have so many other forms like HSL, which we will discuss in detail later on. So in industrial terminology or industrial standard, LCDs can display like 16 million colors. So tri-stimulus theory is about how we can generate millions of colors using three basic colors like red, green and blue. Using three basic colors, red, green and blue. So in fact in human eye the same concept is used to interpret colors. We have three different types of cone cells and each is sensitive to its own spectrum of wavelength, like the red cone cells are sensitive to red color, and similarly the green cone cells are sensitive to green color, and similarly blue cone cells are sensitive to blue color. And then once the colors are sensed through cone cells, which are then interpreted by brain as colors. So we can say that that human eye is more sensitive or can distinguish smaller differences near this range, which is like 540 nanometer, and human which is like yellow or green or mixture of yellow and green colors, and it's very insensitive or worst near the wavelength of 440 nanometer, which is blue color. Color spaces. So this is the main topic which we are in fact going to discuss throughout this lecture. So considering artists' terminology, they usually use the word tint or tone and shade. Tint for purely representing colors, and similarly tone and shade for the different saturations. Whereas in computer graphics or computer image processing, we most of the time we use the term hue for color representation, and saturation and luminance for their different saturations and lightness. So the most basic color space is the RGB, red, green, blue, and then cyan, magenta, yellow, or cyan, magenta, yellow and black, and then HSL, HLS, and then HSV, YUV, YIQ, or YCB, YC. So in short, to represent a single image, we have to save three different color palettes: a complete image with its red component, and then complete image with its green and then blue component. So each pixel on display is in fact displayed using its three values: red, green and blue. So that each color on graphics display is in fact generated using three values: red, green and blue. Like this one, if say we have an LED light emitting diode, and which is in fact connected to three different sources where we can change the voltage or say current, then we can generate by their combination, like red is 255, blue is 255 and changing green. Now we are reducing red and we are changing color, and now blue is decreasing and it's changing color. So by their mixture we can produce variety of colors by changing their intensity of red, green and blue. So additive components. So three basic colors are in fact red, green and blue, and the combination of red and green is yellow, and so on. Blue and red is magenta, and then cyan is the combination of blue and green. And if we add all three basic colors with equal intensity, we get the white color. Whereas in inverse or complementary space, we remove all the colors from white color, so we get black at the place of white, we get magenta at the place of red, and then yellow at the place of green, and cyan at the place of blue. So it's called cyan, magenta and yellow, or CMYK. So let's start how we represent colors in digital systems, computers specifically. So the most basic color spaces are red, green and blue, are RGB color space, and we define color as vector of length 3, red, green and blue, and they are additive most of the time, which is in fact a combination of 3 can generate any color. So the most of the time we use, which is in fact a standard, we use 8-bit binaries for each red, green and blue, and using 8-bit we may have values between 0 and 255, total 256 values. But just for illustration we have used some normalized values here. So the 000 value is the black color, and the 111, all ones are all 255 are white color. And if red is 1 and the other two pigments are 0, then we can produce a red color. And similarly, if blue is 1 and the other two pigments are 0, then it's a blue color. And similarly, green is 1 and the rest of the two are 0. And similarly, yellow is the combination of red and green, and magenta is the combination of red and blue, and cyan is the combination of blue and green. And we can in fact generate wide range of colors like displayed in this cube. So here is the red corner, and then white corner, and then yellow corner, green corner, blue corner, red, green and blue, yellow, magenta and cyan. And the black one is in fact the hidden corner, like we have here. It's the same color cube which is rotating. So we can identify blue, then cyan, then magenta, cyan, red, green, black, white. This is the white dot, white corner, and this is the black corner, this one. So we can represent colors using a vector of 3 values, one for red, one for green and one for blue. By their combination we can produce variety of colors on graphics displays. So color production at graphics level is purely a hardware problem. At software level we have this color as a vector, a matrix of 3 dimensions, say 100 by 100 image, then its dimension would be like 100 by 100 by 3, a red palette, green palette and blue palette. So we can display single component, a single channel as grayscale image, like this is the red component, green component and the blue component. So you can see mostly fruits are yellow, reddish or some green color. So you can see there are high values like close to 255 are bright colors in red component, and then in green component we have once again high value are middle values. But in blue, as there is no blue color within this image, so we have blue component filled with zero values are black color, as we use standard encoding in grayscale images, 0 for black and 1 or 255 for white. So RGB is the best representation for analog or digital graphics displays. This is how we generate colors. These are the same three different planes: a red plane, green plane, where red is 0, where green is 0, and where blue is 0. So these are the three planes, and we have the red, green, and blue, which are then converted or interpreted by monitor or graphics driver to display RGB images. CMY. C stands for cyan, M for magenta, and then Y for yellow, like this one. This concept of color representation is used in printing, and the shortcoming of this color space is that we cannot represent pure black color using these three color components. We can display a grayish or dark grayish color but not black. But at the same time, this feature of this color space is the plus point of this color space, because in printing we have a wider range of black and white printing. So in color printers we can use 4 toners: cyan, magenta, and yellow for color production or images, and then black toner, which is purely used for text printing or black and white printing. So once again, it's the same cube for RGB color space. This time we have a red over here, and blue over here, and green over here, and white on the diagonal, and black at 000 location. So we have cyan, magenta, and yellow. So we can represent any color using a vector of 3 values, like pink is represented as 1 along a red axis, and then 0.5 along green axis, and then 0.5 along blue axis, like this one, 1.5, 0.5. Then if the red is 1 or 255 considering 8-bit values, and 0.5 is equivalent to like 127 or 128, and similarly 0.5 is like 127 or 128. So using these 3 values we can represent this pink color. So you can make an idea that we have an 8-bit red, 8-bit green, 8-bit blue. This would be like 224. So it's like 2 to the power 24, which is approximately equal to 16 million colors. So considering an 8-bit red, 8-bit green, and 8-bit blue, we can produce 2 to the power 24 different colors, or minus, which is equivalent to more than 16 million colors. So RGB is best for graphics displays, and CMYK is best for color printing. And now we have HSL and HSV. Hue, lightness, and saturation, or hue, saturation value. So it's purely based on human perception. We can transform any RGB color to HSV or HLS using little tricky transformations. So we represent HSV or HSL using cylindrical coordinates, not the Cartesian coordinates as we discussed in case of RGB plane or RGB cube. So let's talk about HSL. HSL is hue. Hue is along the radius, along the angle with initial position, and then saturation is in fact distance from origin, and lightness is the height. So you can see all the colors are mapped along the radius. This is the hue. At 0 angle it's red, at 60 angle it's like yellow, at 120 angle it's like green, and then blue it at 240, and then at 360 once again red, and magenta is somewhere in between 240 and 360. So all the colors are mapped in angle between angle 0 and 360. And if the lightness is low, then it's the darker shade of the color. If the lightness is high, then it's the brighter shade of the same color. And similarly in HSV, it's a little different. Once again, colors are mapped along the radius or around the radius. It's like at 0 degree is red, and once again the same sequence. So H value is same in case of HSL or HSV. But the difference is its white color is mapped in the center, not at the top, as in case of HSL. In HSL, white color is mapped on the top and black color is mapped on the bottom of this cylinder, whereas in HSV we have white color in center, so brighter shade of the color is available with smaller value of saturation, and darker shade of the same color is available with higher value of saturation. And similarly the value dark color with low value, and pure color, not the bright color, pure color with higher value, higher number of value I mean. So HSL is usually represented as this shape with white on the top and black on the bottom. This is a well-known color picker which is used in Microsoft, and you can see it's the same concept like this one. The hue value is the same sequence. So hue is changing along horizontal axis like this one, and value, you can change value using this picker, and saturation is changing along this vertical axis. So in HSV is purely based upon human perception. So the coloredness and the saturation or lightness is separated. Our coloredness is separated from lightness and the saturation. So we have two nature scenes, two different images, and their colors are then displayed in RGB space. This scenery is displayed in RGB space, their color representations. The color used within this scene from RGB space, and similarly color used in this picture from RGB space, and then in HSV space this green color, and then this yellowish and red color. and then YUV, which we have not discussed yet, but we will discuss within 2 or 3 slides, within few slides. Okay, conversion to grayscale. By the way, these conversions are not very important. The reason is we have a lot of libraries and predefined functions to convert between different color spaces, like from RGB to HSV or HSV to HSL and so on. But it is important to know little about the conversions, like we can convert an RGB color to its grayscale version just by taking the average. So the resulting image would be darker for red and green color areas. So the alternative approach is to use weighted sum of RGB, like R is multiplied by some weight, and then G is multiplied by some weight, and similarly blue is multiplied by some weight, and then added together to get the grayscale image. And we have some standards, like in analog TVs we use these constants, WR, WG and WB, and in case of digital color encoding we use different weights. So an RGB image is hueless or gray when all components are equal. You can observe the same concept in RGB space, like we have a black color over here and then white color over here, a black at the origin and white along the diagonal. So all the gray colors are in fact mapped along the diagonal of this 3D cube or this Cartesian coordinate space. So along the diagonal, the values of red, green, blue are definitely same. They are 0, 0, 0, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 in normalized space, or 1, 1, 1, then 2, 2, 2, and so on up to 255, 255, and 255. So it's called hueless space, where the values are colorless or grayish. So there are two ways to save or manage colors. One is the component ordering and other is the packed ordering. In component ordering we have 3 different channels, like blue, green and red, and we save these images as 3 different channels, whereas in case of packed ordering we have 3 components saved at one location, and so on. For each pixel we have 3 components. So using 8-bit color palettes, 8-bit for red and 8-bit for green and 8-bit for blue, we can produce 16 million colors, whereas human eye can hardly discern or differentiate between 2500 colors and shades. In fact, it's like 120 or 128 different hues and colors and 20 different shades of each color. We are representing 16 million colors, whereas human eye can perceive or distinguish between hardly hundreds of colors. So the best way is to represent images using indexed images, where we can select some variety of colors, a combination of red, green and blue, and then index them and use that index at each pixel. So a smaller table can represent a small amount of data or colored image. Here's the conversion, how we convert RGB to HSV. Once again, as I said earlier, that I'm not interested in all this mathematics, though it's not difficult. You can compute C high by computing max of RGB, and then C low by computing min of RGB, and then their difference is CR and G, and then their ratio is the value V component of HSV, and then you can compute luminance value using this one. Then you can normalize it and using this concept you can compute hue, preliminary hue, which is then a final value of hue is computed using normalized version of this preliminary value. So there are 6 steps, but we are available with variety of functions in OpenCV and other image processing libraries in Python. So it's not important. You just need to learn what is the use of HSV and HSL and what is the use of RGB. So here's an same picture as we discussed earlier. HSV is one of the most used color space in image processing. RGB has perfect application in graphics displays, but HSV is best used in image processing. So you can see the colors are in fact mapped along the angle, like at 0 angle red and so on. Colors are changing with changing angle. So a colored image and then their HSV components are plotted as grayscale images. Here is a well-known application of HSV color space. HSV color space is used for color detection. Like we have a road with yellow lines and white lines, which is a standard. We use the margin lines as yellow line and then dashed lines within the 2 lanes and then solid white line on the other side of the road, solid white line. So we can select a color range from this component, like an angle between say 50 to 60 or 50 to 70, something like that. So we can select a range of color from the image. It's called masking, color masking. So applying yellow and white mask, we got this image, a binary image with some colors. It's not a binary image, by the way, it's a mask image. The same image is masked using some if-else statements, like if the color is in between this range and the value is like within this range value, high value and low saturation, high value and low, smaller value of saturation and higher value, higher component of value. So it's the white color. So we can apply this mask just by using if-else statements on the image, and then we can get the we can get a matrix like matrix of ones and zeros. Then we can apply the same mask on the original image to get the image like this one. So the whole yellow color, like a yellow color over here and the yellow line, and similarly a white line and then white car and then some clouds or horizon, not clouds, it's the horizon, sunlight, which are detected as white, and then some white color over here. We can even mask this image, like we can select this portion of image just to detect lane detection. So HSV perfectly works for color detection and can be used in variety of computer vision applications. So like in space imagery, for environmental changes, vegetation detection, glacier size measurement, terrain detection, and similarly in robotics, say we have a robot and then we can detect objects of certain color, and similarly in industrial robotics, where we can guide a pick and place robotic arm for objects of certain color, and especially driverless cars, where we can detect road lane detection, as we discussed on the last slide, and traffic sign detection and traffic signal detection. So it's all about colors. As we know that the lane marking or road marking is standardized and the traffic signs are standardized, so we can detect all these landmarks or signs or signals based on their colors. So the next is YUV, YIQ or YCBCR. These color schemes are used in fact in analog and digital TV or compression, and similarly transmission of video. So the basic concept is separate luminance component Y from two chroma components. So instead of encoding colors, encode color differences between components. So let's see how it works. So the scheme YIQ scheme is best for image processing. Say for example, if you apply histogram equalization directly to the RGB color space, so there is a huge chance that all the color balance will be altered or mixed. So instead we use histogram equalization on Y channel, just Y channel of the YIQ components, and we get the which in fact only normalizes the brightness level of the image. So here we have the original image, and then it's Y component, I component and Q component. So you can see most of the information is in fact within Y component. Here's the one application. So we have input image, which is quite yellowish in color, and then another image, and we would like to match its histogram of this image with this image. So the best way would be just convert both the images in YIQ format and match the Y component of this image with Y component of this image. You will and then reconvert it to RGB just to display the image. You will get this result. So most of the image processing is in fact implemented on YIQ format, like mask operation, histogram equalization, histogram specification, histogram matching, and HSV is in fact used in color detection or to represent human perception of colors. So the general strategy for processing color images is like convert the image to RGB and then apply any algorithm on R component, G component and B component, then convert into once again image. And the other, which is in fact the better strategy, is to convert, as we know that images are usually saved as RGB images. So read the image as RGB image, convert it to YIQ, apply transformation on Y component, and then convert it back to RGB just to display output. So this is the best strategy in colored image processing. So all the concepts which we have discussed, like point pixel operation, histogram equalization, histogram specification matching, or mask operation, all are valid for YIQ color space. So YUV is another color space which is very close to YIQ. So the Y component is same and is used in analog TV in North America like NTSC standard, and in Europe as PAL standard. So we can compute the Y component using this scaled sum of RGB, and similarly U component considering blue and yellow, and then violet component using red and yellow. And similarly we can write it in the metric form. Say we have RGB component, multiply this vector with this 3 by 3 matrix, you will get YUV. And similarly the reverse transformation. If you have YUV component, multiply YUV component using with this matrix, you will get RGB. So another variant of YUV or YIQ color space. So the RGB signals, RGB components or signals are not efficient as a representation for storage and transmission, since they have lot of redundancy. So YCBR-CR is perfectly like YUV or YIQ. So most of the information is in fact stored in Y component, whereas two chroma components contain very low information. So we can use this concept in compressed or video compression or image compression like JPEG or MPEG standards. So subsampled components of CB and CR can be used in compression because they hold very less information. So here are some constants for YCB CR which we discussed in the last page. So this conversion requires some constants like WR, WB and WG from RGB to YCBR-CR, and similarly their inverse conversion. So different standards have devised different constants for WR, WB and WG. We can write this transformation for these constants in matrix form as well. Here is the comparison of YUV, YIQ and YCB-CR. So initially this image is displayed, a colored image which we in fact displayed few slides ago. The Y component. So the Y component is same in all three color spaces. Here the U component, the Q component and CB component are a little bit similar, and V component, I component, CR component are little bit similar, but they are different in fact representations. So here is a summary of all this concept. RGB is best for graphics displays and storing images on media. CMYK is best for color printing. So as we discussed earlier that color pigments are costly as compared to black color, and color printing may include huge part of black text. So CMYK is the best for this scenario. We can produce all the color using CMY, and we have dedicated black color for black and white printing or black text printing, and these color pigments are not used to generate the black color. HSV is best for image processing, color detection or human perception of colors, and YIQ is best for image processing in general. YUV best for analog TV like NTSC and PAL, and YCBCR best for digital TV or image and video compression. So these are the mostly used color spaces. There are some others like CIE standard, which is in fact adopted by mostly graphics community like people who design graphics in Adobe or all the graphics softwares. But mostly in image processing we use YIQ, HSV and RGB. So let's stop this lecture over here. We have almost concluded all the concepts of colored image processing. So most of the concepts of basic image processing are same, just we use different conversion schemes or different color spaces. So see you in the next lecture.